introduced by a friend of ours. I was being shot girl at a Spectators in Ramsey, and a good friend of mine, Jake, brought a few friends, and with the intention that Nick and I would meet. And we were there, and all I knew of Nick was that he was shorter and he had long hair. And so as soon as I saw him, I knew that this was the guy that I was supposed to be getting set up with. We talked, he asked for my card, I gave it to him, and he called a few days later. March 27th of 2007, I was teaching. I was at the studio, I was at Dance Fever, and I was in the big classroom, and the dances were reversed, so the door was off to my right, so I never really looked at the door, because the door is always open and closed all the time. You don't really pay attention. And all of a sudden, I kind of looked over, and it wasn't Emily or Aaron, it was Nick. And so he came over, and I kind of stood up, and I think I hugged him, and I said, "What are you doing here?" Because we had just talked. And he's like, "Oh, I was in the area." And I was like, "No, you weren't. I just talked to you. You were at home." I was like, "Where's the dog?" And he was like, "Oh, she's at home." And I was like, "Why?" I was so confused. And we were both sitting down at this point then, and the dances was still going, and the dancers were all excited to see Nick, because he doesn't come in very often. And he's like, "Well, you better pause it." So when he said that, then I knew what was going to happen. So I had the remote in my hand, and I pushed pause, and then he stood up. And I don't really remember much of what he said, because the room was spinning, and the girls started to cry, and they were jumping up and down. And then when he stood, I saw that his sister was in the doorway, and the window was plugged up with little faces and big faces. And I think he said, I think everyone knows that this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. And he got down on his knee, and then I tackled him on the floor. And then we were hugging, and I think it was the student, my kids, finally said, "Well, what do you say? What do you say?" Because I never even replied. I was so excited. And so then I said yes, and then I hadn't even seen the ring, and I was like, "Let me see the ring." And then he pulled it out again, because I had tackled him, and he was trying to pick me up off the floor. And my response was, "It's a big one." And then we kind of sat there for a little while, and then we got up and went over and hugged your sister, and we jumped up and down going, "We're finally going to be sisters." I would like to have started a family within 5 years. I'd like to be out of the townhome into a different house. I don't really see us changing much. I think we've been doing that. I mean, we've been living together 2 years, and I think some things will change, but I really hope that we don't change, because I like who we are. And that's why I'm marrying him. They're a fun group of guys. Even after 5 years, I still feel like I go through the ringer a little bit. But his sister's my best friend. So it's him and Sean and Emily and I, so we're always doing stuff as couples and whatnot. So, and he was Sean's best man. I was Emily's maid of honor in their weddings. So.
When I first seen her that night, I just thought, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to come up with a bunch of malarkey to beat her." I thought it's like, really thought, well, she's out of my league. But I just thought, well, I'll just give her all I can, be confident, But right away, I was like, "Oh man, I gotta date. We gotta date her," And asked some of my friends, you know, afterwards, like, gosh, what do you think of her? And I remember a number of them, you know, on different occasions saying, man, she's a 10. She's a 10, you know. I was like, yeah, I think so. I was like, is it just me, or is she really that fine? It's like, and she was, you know, she's so headstrong. I mean, that's right away you pick that up off her. But yeah, I was raring for I wanted to call her that night, that's for sure. I think I get along with her friends really well. I definitely look forward to hanging out with them, you know, as if they're my own. Look forward to hanging out with their, you know, her friends' husbands, and even her friends are all fairly fond of me. It seems like, you know, somebody that's easy to get along with, somebody that seems like they care for you. But yeah, I definitely dig them all. I definitely want to see family. And I'm really happy to be becoming a part of such a family as hers, which is something I've never experienced. But emotionally, in the same place. I think I'm as deep as I could be, and it's been great. You know, I don't think it can get much deeper. I'm definitely over my head. If you know, if love is a river, I've definitely been drowned in for a while. But yeah, family. Maybe we'll be closer to town, get a new place, you know. But more of the same. Everything good, you know. I look forward to the seasons that come, and look forward to today. You know.